Friends, let us observe this totally unedited real-time phacoemulsification of this posterior subcapsular cataract. The ocular surface is thoroughly irrigated with PSAs after instilling few drops of povidone iodine, and then this is the main incision with a 2.8 mm steel keratome at mid-limbus. The anterior chamber is then filled off with 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. And now a side port is made on the left side of the main incision about 3 clock hours away. And now Capsulorhexis is done. In this case I am getting a fairly good red glow, though the microscope is not having any stereocoaxial system. This is Topcon's OMS 800. And now this is a very nice adequate sized rhexis of about 5.5 millimeter. And now hydrodissection is done with a 27 gauge cannula and BSS is used. The fluid wave goes to the opposite equator. Hydrodelineation is attempted, and in this case we have got a beautiful golden ring. At this time I didn't rotate the nucleus. I am going to do it after a few seconds. Visco is injected into the anterior chamber, and now the tip of the phaco needle enters into the anterior chamber with its bevel towards the cataractous lens. Some superficial cortical lens matter is aspirated, and then the nucleus is rotated clockwise as well as anti-clockwise. Now the handpiece is turned to make the bevel up, and now watch direct chop. The tip of the phaco needle is buried into the substance of the nucleus and it is chopped. The nucleus is chopped into pieces. Nuclear sclerosis in this case is in grade 3, and it is very easy to hold and chop this kind of nuclei. Ultrasonic energy used in this case is 60%, flow rate is 45 ml per minute, and vacuum is 450 millimeter of mercury. And now this is the epinucleus. The epinucleus is held, the anterior part of the epinucleus is held, and it is removed. And now I go to IA mode, irrigation and aspiration mode, and remove some cortical matter by the handpiece itself. And now I come out, inject visco, and now I'm going to remove this rest of the cortex by the 23G Simcoe through the main wound. I won't go through this side port. Here it is. This is how we can remove it. So it is done, and now we can see some very faint fibrous tissue on the posterior capsule. I tried to polish it off as much as possible, but it didn't come off. We can easily manage these thin fibrous plaques with ear glazier, so I decided to leave it. Some loose cells on the posterior capsule is being removed by this technique called hydropolish. And now The main incision is enlarged a bit because I'm going to use a B cartridge. The main incision, which was 2.8 millimeter, is about 3 millimeter now. And now a single piece monofocal intraocular lens is implanted in the capsular bag. Now the irrigating probe, irrigating cannula, places the haptics about 90° away from the main wound so that I can go behind the IOL easily. Some more polishing of the posterior capsule is done. And now towards the end of the surgery, this is a bit of moxifloxacin. In this case we have only one side port. It is closed by hydrating corneal stroma on either side of this stab wound. And now this is the final lavage of the anterior chamber. The anterior chamber is irrigated thoroughly, and then the anterior chamber is formed very nicely, and the case is done. But we have to check the integrity of the wounds with a cotton tipped Johnson bar. Apply few drops of moxie over the ocular surface and then remove the speculum. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in developing your surgical skills. In this case, you have not missed anything. This is a totally unedited surgery.